Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from Manhood. Women are shaming men in public for not dating. Please like and share them below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
Women are shaming men in public for not dating.
I just got ghosted before my date. I was supposed to go on a date this evening at a really nice restaurant with a man I met on Bumble. He also made reservations there, and he planned for us to grab drinks at a brewery beforehand. You know, we matched yesterday and we were talking the night away. He immediately made reservations. He wanted to meet me. And we talked all day. We were both looking forward to going on this date, and we couldn't wait to get ready and to meet each other. And 4 o'clock rolls around, and guess what? I went to go send him a message just to confirm where we were meeting at 5, and he had deleted his Bumble account. And I called the reservation, or the restaurant where the reservation was at, and he also canceled that as well. He was such a coward that he had to delete his account and couldn't send me a message just to say, hey, like...
Or he just really didn't want to deal with you at all anymore.
I changed my mind, or it's not working. He had to literally delete his own account. Like, I got ready. I got completely ready. I was looking forward to this. He led me on. I got so used today. Like, so bamboozled by this man. And for what? For absolutely nothing, for him to delete his Bumble account because he's a coward. Is this what online dating is? It's just bullshit men that just like to ghost women or just to lead them on for no reason and have like no intention of meeting us. Like, I get I'm curvy, I get I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Like,
that's probably the biggest reason, girl.
You can just send me a message like any decent man would be like, hey, just not feeling it. I wouldn't have any issue at all. You just had to do all of this, and I wasted my time.
Really? Because you're shaming him for not doing something. I can't imagine what you would do if he actually said those things to you. You would probably be on here shaming him even more.
Getting ready for what? For nothing. Men in California really do suck. I wonder if it's this bad anywhere else, but I definitely feel like I need to get off of this dating roller coaster of online dating, since apparently men just suck here.
So what you're telling me is a bunch of men got together and formed a I Hate Girls Club? Like what you do when you're 7, 8 years old? So these men never grew up?
What do you think the feminists is? You don't think it's some kind of club also? Like, what the hell are you talking about? Women just love to shame men in such the stupidest ways sometimes.
Look, women have to express aggression somehow unless you're willing to say that they're not aggressive. They tend not to do it physically, not to the degree men do, so they use other channels. And what other channels are there other than physical aggression if you're going to be aggressive? Well, you go after people verbally. You go after them with innuendo and gossip and reputation destruction. And that's how it works.
And just to be clear, that you think that's predominantly a female modus operandi?
It isn't that I think that.
Well,
it's that the clinical literature indicates that. It isn't that I think it.
Well, I'm not interviewing the clinical literature. I'm interviewing you. What do you think?
Well, I'm a psychologist and a scientist, and I tend to base my opinions on what I've read in the broad, relevant clinical literature. I'm not making this stuff up. I studied antisocial behavior for like 15 years. I'm actually quite an expert on it.
It is another thing to be pained. It is another thing to admit that it is a self-inflicted pain. Modern women are fond of playing victim and pointing hands. It is not a funny situation to only me, but a whole lot of different men, because these women are disgracing men they have said no to before for walking away from dating. Women shaming men for not dating is known as dating shaming. It is leading to a culture of guilt, tripping among women. Dating shaming from these women takes different forms. These women publicly call out and shame men for not being in a romantic relationship with them, or for not settling for certain societal expectations around dating.
Isn't that sad? Instead of being incels and keeping to themselves and, you know, like men do, no, they got to come online and badger men for not being with them and not wanting to be with them. It takes incel to a whole nother level.
I have had a girl tell me, I am refusing to evolve because I would not allow her to disrespect the relationship. This behavior manifests in various ways. Number one is various social media posts criticizing men for walking away from dating or not looking to settle down.
Trigger warning, I'm conceited. Sometimes I literally will think to myself, my future husband, whoever he is so lucky. Like, he'll get to spend the rest of his life in my presence. What an honor. I will cry at the altar just because I'm so happy for him.
Modern women in a nutshell, and this is why men are not getting married anymore. Why would you do something like that? Wow.
The MGTOW guys ripped this one. Okay, so I had to look this up. MGTOW stands for Men Going Their Own Way. So apparently it's this online group of men that promote masculinity, hostility towards women.
When have we promoted that?
Strong opposition towards feminism.
True.
And exaggerated misogyny.
No.
First of all, the only time I've ever been ripped was childbirth. TMI, I know, but you know. Second of all, this is sad. So what you're telling me is a bunch of men got together and formed a I Hate Girls Club? Like,
I mean, feminism is an I hate men's club, is it not?
what you do when you're 7, 8 years old? So these men never grew up? Look, I don't hate all men. And I don't have followers that hate all men.
Why are you lying? You know you have some followers that hate all men.
We are cautious towards all men. And rightly so.
And we are cautious to all women. Rightly so.
Because statistics show that men are our biggest predators. And you would tell your
No, I want to actually say that women are your biggest predators.
daughter to be cautious towards men as well. But this woman-hating group that's so active on the internet, trying to tear all of us women down, I don't think they understand that it's not tearing us down. It's only empowering us and bringing us together and supporting each other, because that's what women do. These men are...
Really? Yes, the sisterhood does do that, but there's a reason why you're single, and it's probably because all your friends around you made you single, just like your choices.
Are mad that women have decentered men from our lives. Men are no longer the center of our lives anymore. We want equality.
And women are not the center of our lives anymore. Have you not realized that? That's what MGTOW is.
How is that bad, friend? How is it bad to say, I want to be equal? I want to be a partner. So these men
you're not
believe
equal.
that feminism and sexism and women in general are responsible for destroying the Western life, the Western way of living. And we are. And it's about damn time. This group is no different than the KKK and white
They
supremacy.
always love to put us with white supremacy. I cover mostly minorities. Most of our channels is minorities. There's a few white people, but there's a lot of minorities that go through the same thing.
When there are a group of people in society that are being oppressed and they fight back, change has to happen, friend. And it is, and I'm so, so proud
These women are so ignorant.
of all the women that came before me and the women that are standing beside me, fighting for our freedom and our equality, and most importantly, our safety.
I almost want to say women were much safer back in the day because there was chivalry. Men treated them as so. Now we treat you as equals. We ignore your cries.
I don't mean to get emotional. I just don't understand this kind of hate. I don't understand why you would not want equality for all. I don't understand why these men come onto women's pages and say such disgusting things and insults. What I do know is that hurt
They didn't even say anything insulting.
people hurt people. So every time a man comes on and tries to hurt me, what they're doing is screaming, I'm a hurt child and I need attention. And any attention is better than no attention.
You sure that's not why you're on TikTok? Because you need that attention? And any attention is good attention?
Effort that these people put into hating a whole gender, if you just took that effort and put it into love, self-awareness, self-love, your whole world would change.
we can say the exact same thing to you, ladies.
Dumb people should not be allowed to hold cameras to prevent misinformation. She doesn't even know the meaning of MGTOW. And MGTOW men don't hate women. They are running away from women. They are avoiding them. But they have an affection for women, which they are intentionally suppressing. Some MGTOW men are becoming passport bros, meaning that they are walking away from a particular set of women, which are mostly found in the West.
Men are giving up on dating. And one of the reasons why is because of women's expectations. One of the main reasons why women have such unrealistic expectations is because of social media, and let me tell you why. So women are often fueled by what they see on social media. It seems like everywhere you look online, there are images of perfect couples, luxury, exotic vacation, lavish gifts, and this is very, very toxic.
It's crazy because I know that stuff is there. I'm not on Instagram like that, nor Facebook, so I don't see these things personally. But I know it's there. It's so prevalent in the women that I date and the women that I see and how they run their lives.
Because this is not even real. It's just social media. And these things create an unrealistic standard for women because they expect that from a partner. And men feel like they need to be wealthy or constantly shower women with gifts to be able to measure up. And it's a lot of pressure. It can leave men thinking that they'll never be able to meet these expectations. And as a result, men are just giving up on dating because they feel like they can compete against those fantasy relationships that we see online. And I think it's very, very dangerous because it can lead to self-esteem issues as men feel like they're never gonna be good enough, and this can result in anxiety, depression. So yeah, it's a very, very concerning problem.
She got a lot of things right, except the fact that men have anxiety and are depressed. The truth is,
I'm sure some do.
a lot of men were getting to that point of mental decapitation, and then they started figuring out why they should suffer mentally for women's delusion. It's women's delusion, not theirs. A lot of men are at peace leaving women to their misery. At some point, this world was bound to fall apart if certain men didn't step up and remind everyone that men are the backbone of society, the ones keeping everything moving and thriving. But despite all the sacrifices and hard work men have put in, women still don't show the respect men deserve. This lack of appreciation has spilled over into dating too. Men bust their backs, facing all the struggles, just to have a chance in the dating scene, to satisfy their women, and yet women act like they're the prize, like dating revolves around them. It's infuriating.
It really is.
So apparently single men are starting to become afraid to approach women in real life because they don't want to be viewed as creepy, around like 53% according to this one study, and I just really think that is not enough. Run the percentage up. This is not a bad thing. And I'm going to tell you why. A man being concerned about being viewed as creepy while approaching a woman shows an awareness of the reality of violence that women face when they are approached by men, when they deal with men, when they're talked to by men, when they're harassed.
No, that is not what we're realizing. We're realizing that we can get in trouble and be called creeps and go to jail for approaching you. So we'd rather protect ourselves. Not that we care about you.
By men, cackled by men, etc. And he does not want to be a part of said reality. There is literally nothing negative about men starting to be hyper aware of how they're interacting with women. There's no negative to that because it's been on the other end of the spectrum for so long, right? Like men have been so used to women being at their disposal and their availability whenever they want to, right? That now some men see it as a slight that, oh my God, I have to worry about being viewed as a creep. You have to worry about being viewed as a creep while we have to worry about death.
Shut up. How many of you guys are dying because of men's hands? There's not that many compared to other things.
This is not a slight to you if you are concerned about being viewed as creepy. You should be. You should be thinking, how am I going to approach this woman in a way that is not going...
And we can say the same thing about you being gold diggers. You should be concerned about us viewing you as gold diggers. You should stop it.
...to scare her, that is not going to creep her out or freak her out or make her feel like I am dangerous. You should absolutely be thinking that. And then for the men that are like, well, how am I supposed to date women now? Oh my gosh, like, how am I supposed to go on dates? Do you hear yourself? Your complaint is that going out on dates with women is now going to be harder for you. That doesn't sound like the most privileged thing. Being harder for y'all to approach us is not oppression.
What privilege are you talking about? We have to put in all the work to do the approaching. And now if we were to approach, we can get in trouble or go to jail for it? Yeah, not worth the squeeze.
That is not a slight to you. That is a byproduct of the violence that we have to deal with and face. It's a byproduct of all these other men in the world that make that so difficult. A black woman and girl was killed every 6 hours in 2020. Around 81% of women in general deal with sexual harassment. Women get killed for saying no to men on the street. Until those statistics and statistics like it stop, we have a right to not be sure if you as a man approaching us is going to be one of those men. And you need to start thinking about your behavior and making sure you do not become one of those men or come off as one of those men. This is not a negative thing. A lot of y'all need to be concerned about being viewed as a creep.
Historically, men have always been expected to take the lead in romantic relationships, pursuing women, planning dates, and steering the relationship forward. And yet, when men speak up, women have the nerve to call them insecure. It's laughable. The reality is, a huge number of men have had enough and are checking out. Now women are starting to feel the sting, but they refuse to admit it. Just look at TikTok. It's flooded with videos of women ranting about their awful dating experiences. But you know what they never own up to? The fact that they're facing the consequences of their own actions. Women shame men for a lot of weird reasons, but it also stems from personal frustrations or insecurities. Women who engage in shaming project their own dating challenges or dissatisfaction with the dating scene onto others, but they don't say these men used to be around me before, but they stopped. By criticizing men, they seek to alleviate their frustrations or assert control because they feel powerless. Shaming men is a sport for them. It is a means of gaining social validation.
Yep.
Ridiculing others can garner approval from peers and reinforce the shamer's social standing, aligning with group norms and providing a sense of belonging.
Women are wondering, like, why aren't men wanting to get married these days? Why are men not even approaching me and talking to me anymore? Why are men checking out completely? Look at the risk reward of getting into a relationship with a woman, potentially for a family and kids. You know, if you want to sleep around and just like hoe it up as a dude, and salute, brother, go handle business. The game ends the same for us.
Is that enough?
Can you find happiness? Can you find happiness and joy? For some men, it's great. But I think every man on a deeper level yearns for a family, yearns for that dream, like a woman that's supportive, nurturing.
Agreed.
This just proves how we've been trying to wake these women up to the disastrous path they've chosen in dating. But no, feminism, this twisted ideology that refuses to listen to anyone else's perspective, has brainwashed them into ignoring all the things they desperately need to fix. And now, look at the mess they're in. They're failing miserably, and the regrets are piling up. You hear women now, bitterly admitting, I wish I hadn't bought into this feminist nonsense. I wish I hadn't pushed men away and raised my standards to the sky. But guess what? It's too late. When you lose, you lose. And the ugly truth is becoming more and more obvious by the day. Let's get into this. Lately, more and more relationship issues are stemming from the attitudes women bring into them. It's infuriating. Women think they can do whatever they want in a relationship, wear whatever they like, act however they please, and completely ignore what men have to say. They've been brainwashed into believing they don't need to settle for any man. They live by this ridiculous motto: be yourself, never compromise, and if a man won't put up with your careless attitude, just dump him and move on to the next one. Well, now that attitude is finally coming back to bite them in the ass. There aren't any more guys to jump to. They bought into this delusion that there's plenty of fish in the sea for them, but now they're realizing that was never true. That's a luxury men have. Men can find someone new whenever they want, but these women, they've run out of options, and it's only now that they're seeing the reality. The height of women shaming men is stating that men who are focused on their careers or hobbies instead of relationships are unbalanced or selfish. These are women who would reject broke guys, and it actually makes men conclude that women don't know what they want.
Nope.
And that's just how it goes.
It's funny how women hate being shamed, but they love shaming. But shaming men doesn't really get them anywhere because men have grown past this shame. Maybe back in the days, like 20 years ago, where it actually did matter to men. Now, MGTOW, passport bros, we don't care. Please extra them below. I really appreciate it. Could you accept that?